Hello, Toy Collector fans, Universal Toy Collector here, and welcome to the channel. Well, we talk the talk, then we walk the walk. Now, we're going to be talking the walk. Yes, hello everybody, hoping you are all keeping well, and thank you for joining us. Now, I should have started this at 8:15 because I was watching the football, I was watching the Champions League final, so yeah, hoping Arsenal win because it would be good for English football. But we're not here to talk about football, we're here to talk about the London to Brighton walk, which myself, Martyn, Scott and Darren took part in last weekend. We'll get those guys on in a minute and we'll hear their thoughts and opinions. And but first of all, let's see who's in the chat, shall we? So we've got Johnny Sorensen. My ankle's hurt from reading the description. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Jonathan, but I have to say I do apologise because Shabby messaged me like early this morning saying that I'd set this for 8 a.m. UK time, which was 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I was like, oh, for goodness sakes, I had to run in early this morning and sort it out. So I'm sorry if you've missed this, Johnny, live. So hopefully we'll you catch it on the replay. Anyway, but nice to join us. Thank you. We've got Hoppy. Hello there. Evening, Stu, Darren, Martyn, Scott. All to the show we go. Yes, absolutely. We've got Georgie. Hello, my dear. Hoping you're keeping well. Well, I know you're keeping well. Sorry, about 2 seconds ago. Right. Good evening, everyone, says Des. Hope you've all recovered. Yes. Well, to a point. Yeah. Hello, Stu, Darren, Scott, Martyn, Hoppy, and Georgie. Hello there, Kieran. Nice you can join us. Thank you very much. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Who's this? Oh, Martyn. Hello. All right. Speak to you in a minute. Good evening, all. Well, the footy was a bit tense. I still don't know the score. It was level on penalties when I last saw it. But nice you to join us, Mrs. T. Thank you. Who's this? Georgie. Oh, dear, Stu. Nearly saw who won. Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's fine. It's fine. It's all good. Hello, Jason. How are you? Hoping the toy fair went well in the Toy Zone, I think it's called, over in Amsterdam. Hoping that went well. Hit that like button, you Hobbit. Yeah, thank you very much. That'd be awesome. Yeah, apparently it helps the channel. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Oh, hello. Hello, Daz. How are you? Little Darren. All right. You'll be joining us. What a machine he is. And yeah. What else we got? G-Force. Hello, sir. How are you? Such poor penalty kicks in the chat. Oh, God. Okay, that don't sound too good, does it? Well, hoping you're keeping well. We're going to come out and see you in three and a bit weeks' time. Looking forward to it, sir. But thank you for joining us. Who else have we got? Again, everybody saying hello. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Hello, Stephanie. How are you? Nice of you to join us. Thank you very much. We've got Jonathan Redmond. Hello. Good evening, all. Good evening, sir. How are you? We've got Adam. Hello, sir. How are you? Evening, all. Nice of you to join us. Thank you very much. Is there anybody new in the chat? Let's have a look. Oh, that's tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? All right, then. Okay, well, just stay away from the red light district, won't you? I know what you're like, dirty boy. Right, Miriam, hello. How are you? Nice you to join us. Hoping you're keeping well. Thank you very much. Who else we got? What's this? Hope everyone is dealing with the current heat wave. Okay, kind of. Seriously, talk about bad timing, but we'll get into that in a minute. Right. Okay, let's get the rest of the Skywalkers on. Then we've got Martyn, Daz, and Scott. No, we haven't. Where's Daz? Daz.
Commiserating, probably.
Daz.
Oh, sorry.
That's a lot of that, is it? Hey?
So I'm trying. My earbuds aren't connecting. It's really annoying me. So sorry.
Okay.
I was getting distracted.
Yeah, people not putting their cameras on, really distracting. It's annoying me. So yeah, it was, he obviously didn't hear that. How are you, gentlemen? Have you all recovered?
Yeah.
Getting there.
Yeah. Getting there.
We've been trying.
I mean, we'll talk about the walk itself in a minute. But the reason we did it was because, well, I approached you guys last year, didn't I? Around about the end of October, beginning of November time, and said, look, this is what I've got in mind as a incentive for the charity live stream in this coming March. And Darren and Scott, you both said yes, you would, do it. So that was Martyn. You can't. I was surprised at you, to be honest with you, because I didn't think it would be something that you would do. Oh, look at you, by the way, in your nice room. Oh, look at me. And but I'm surprised, but I'm very, very grateful and thankful that you did it. So, what was your reasoning behind doing it? Because I know you like walking the dogs and stuff like that, but what was your...
I've always enjoyed walking. I've never done anything like this before, but I've always enjoyed. I walk the dogs all the time. I just generally I'm always on my feet a lot of the time, so I didn't think for a second that I wouldn't be able to do it. We'll talk about that later. As soon as you said that you were going to do that, I think I texted you like the following day and said, mate, if you want some company, I'd love to do it, because really, really, I love a challenge. You know me.
Yeah.
Quite competitive. I don't know if you've heard, but the other thing is, because I couldn't do the road trip for the charity this year. I felt like I hadn't done enough, so I wanted to do something.
Oh, look, this is one thing I don't want. I know
it's a personal thing, mate. Don't worry. I know.
I get that. I just don't want anybody to ever think that they never ever do enough. You guys do a vast amount, and it is very greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. So please don't think that. So come March, we did the 24-hour charity live stream. You guys all took part. It was about the last half hour, and we was a little ways away from raising the needed. So you guys must have been sitting there thinking, well, I'm kind of glad that we haven't we've raised a great amount of money, but I'm kind of glad that we didn't raise that money, because you must have been thinking, right, the walk's not on then.
Scott, I was kind of, I was a little bit thinking, oh, we're not going to have to do it, but at the same time thinking, it was something I was kind of looking forward, weirdly, sadistically, to doing. So it was that last half hour. It was kind of like, okay, never mind. But obviously, then it changed in the last half hour, and then it was like, okay.
What about you, Scott?
Yeah, after last year, I thought anything could happen, and I was saying to Steph, it looks like we're not doing this walk. But last year, when you got the pony, it was it happened again in the last 15 minutes, less than that even, I think.
Yeah.
So I thought anything could happen. I thought it's not over until it is. So I wasn't really surprised in the end.
Yeah.
I kind of thought, oh shit, now I've really got to do this.
Martyn, what was your response?
I kind of had a bit of an unfair advantage, because I'd met Lindsay and Justin at Thanksgiving, and they had a little private word with me.
Oh, did they now?
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't like we're definitely going to do this. But let's just say we had a chat. That's all I'm going to say. And I was pretty confident that you would probably reach the target in the end, if you were close enough. That is, I should say. So I knew it would be on. I didn't really have any doubts. I thought it would be on. But But as I say, I was happy to do it. Even happier that I've done it as well.
Yeah, no, cool. Right, let's just quickly catch up on the chat. So, Martyn, your background looks a bit different. Did you move a picture around? What red light area? Yeah. All right, okay. Yeah. What's this, Steph? Yeah, all right.
Don't get Steph involved.
Wrong clue. Martyn in the new collection room with a paint. Yeah. What's this, Jono? How straight are his shelves? I know, I've got to say, pretty impressed. I give it 9 out of 10 G4. See, look at that. They're talking about your shelves. Hello, JT. How are you? Ahoy, folks. Do I need my plimsolls for the stream? No, we're taking it casual. No walking boots, plimsolls, or anything like that. I'm barefoot because it's still effing hot.
It is down there, yeah.
You need a large hobbit feet, JT. I think that's what let me down. I didn't have hobbit feet. Thanks to Shoes Cousin. Yes, big thank you. Hi, Kieran. I've got tiny feet for my height. Well, apparently so have I, according to Darren. But there you go.
You have.
It's just your noise, man. What are you talking about? I mean,
I'm the one with tiny feet.
What size feet are you? Who's got tiny feet?
Darren.
Mine's a size 6. Yeah, but I'm little. You're all taller than me.
I know, that sounds good. So,
And
yeah.
Martyn has got the longest toes I've ever seen in my life.
Does he? Oh.
Yeah. So there's a saying about that or something. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, you should get those on OnlyFans, mate. You'd make a mint.
Oh dear. Right, so we raised the money. The target was reached. We were doing the walk, and what was that? March. So we had April, May. So we only had a couple of months, sort of like to prep. Well, I mean, say that. I mean, we had the best, just over 6-7 months to prep, because I kind of knew what I wanted to do anyway, like going forward. But Scott, when we did raise that money and we were doing the walk, what was your like training regime? I mean, was you quite intense with it?
Yeah, I took the dog out the very next day and did like 4 or 5 miles, and that felt quite exhausting at the time. But I just slowly built up. I was out every week then, Saturdays, and if I got a day off in the week or half a day off, I'd be out, and that was great. I mean, we put in a lot of miles in those couple of months. It seemed very close. It seemed like a lot to achieve, but walks that were taking me 2 hours, I was doing in an hour and a half. After 2 or 3 weeks, and I was thinking, yeah, I can do this. Did a few 15 miles. I never did more than 15 to 16 miles.
Yeah.
I thought any more would be sort of pushing it. I just thought I'd see what happened on the day, really. So yeah.
Okay.
A lot of walking.
Yeah. Well, no, that's good. That's good because I like that. What about you, Darren? Because I mean, the reason why I asked you two in the first place is, Scott, because I know that every time I see you in a picture, you're somewhere out in the wild walking somewhere. Yeah. And Darren, I know that you do like a lot of running. So what was your preparation like for the walk?
So, a bit like Scott, it was kind of like as soon as it was on, it was kind of right, need to get some walking in to get the time. It was all about getting time on feet. So, I sit at my desk all day working when I'm during the week. So I'm not very, I run, but they're not, it's a couple of hours. So those first couple of weeks, obviously it was still dark at night. So I'd be working out, it would go for, 1 to 2 hour walk after work in the dark. And then just slowly building it up. And obviously as the clocks got closer to changing, slowly, getting up to sort of, doing 6, 8. I think the longest I did was 10.
Yeah.
And they're just long days on your own. And it's kind of, you get up, off your plod. Luckily, I was able to, one of the walks I did, I walked to my mum, so she was like halfway. So I think the furthest I did was probably about 26, 27 miles.
Wow. Okay.
And just sort of, and then at that point, it was like, right, I can't really fit in a walk any longer than that, but equally there's a point where you sort of say, I don't need to know what it feels like to go any further. I'm saving that. I don't need to be put off with if it really hurts. And I picked up a pain in the arch of my feet that was sort of fairly early on, so I was having to manage that with the walking. Yeah, which on the day was all right, but I think that was because I was distracted with all the other pain that I had on the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Called Martyn.
Absolutely, too right. What about you, Martyn?
Well, I mean, I walk nearly every day, couple of miles a day with the dogs or the dog. But I did, to be fair, I fully admit I didn't do anywhere near enough training. I did 3 big walks up into the walk. I did I think it was a 10-mile walk. And then you came over with Georgie for the weekend, and then we did like 7.5, 8 miles. I can't remember.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. And then 2 weeks before the actual walk, I did a 15-mile walk. And when I'd finished the 15-mile walk, I was like, wow, I actually feel fine. This is going to be easy. This is easy. And of course, I live in Cambridgeshire, and anyone who knows the geography of Cambridgeshire knows that it's one of the flattest parts of the country. So I wasn't quite prepared for what was ahead of me. But, in retrospect, I feel like I did do training, but I could definitely have done a lot more.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, my first big walk was that one that I videoed and filmed and stuff like that. And that included quite a few like hills and stuff like that. So I think that was the furthest that I'd ever walked and the longest amount of time walking. And I did that, and I felt quite proud of myself and stuff like that. And yeah, the aches were there for sure. And then I did a few smaller walks, and I went to yours that time to do that walk into is it Ely?
Yep.
Yeah, to Ely. And then I did the other walk a couple of weeks before we did the actual walk itself, and that's when I had the issue with my right Achilles. So I thought, well, do you know what? I'm going to take that one up as well this time round. So that was hopefully to prevent any sort of like Achilles issues that I suffered with my left Achilles and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it was great. It was great. So when you all prepped, was it a case of, you know, what was it you were wearing? Like boots, the trousers, the jackets and stuff like that? Because up to that point, the weather hadn't been great, had it really?
It kind of dried up here almost as soon as, you know, we knew we were going to be doing it. And so I had increasingly dry weather, but I think for me, it was doing a bit of research and getting hold of those toe socks.
Yeah.
Which are absolutely brilliant, because my big fear was blisters, because once you get a blister, that's it, it's ruined, really. And I've had that in the past on hill walks and stuff. So, you know, it was about trying things like that out. You know, you were talking about using Vaseline as well, weren't you, Stu? And so trying that. So for me, for the first few weeks, it was a bit about testing certain things. See if they worked. So incorporating that with just trying to get out as much as possible, and almost thought, it doesn't matter if I give myself a blister now. I'm pushing myself. I'm finding out if these inner, you know, toe socks work, and they've been. I mean, I haven't had a blister the whole time, even on, you know, last week's walk. So that was all part of the prep, and looking through the gear, the stuff that it was telling you needed to take. You know, looking at that and starting to gather some of that. You know, the website was full of information, too much information. It was overwhelming. It was hard to find out what you needed, what you didn't need, and what to do.
We will talk about the website in a minute, but what I will say is that if you do go on the website and you do read it properly and look, it does give you all the information that you need about taking a change of clothes with you, what you need to bring with you, the stop points. You can take a suitcase and stuff like that. So all that information is there. Would you guys agree with that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was. There was a couple of. I think it was only a few bits that sort of conflicted each other, but it was sort of, you know, the break, so where the stops were, you know, what you would get at each stop. Obviously, you know, I'd spoken to a friend, a school friend of mine. She's done the walks a few times, and as we got to sort of like about 10 days out, and it was looking like, okay, it's now drying up. And looking at certainly that first bit up to lunch, that, you know, obviously on the first day we were in town. I was thinking, you know what, I'm probably going to err on and go with trainers. My feet get really hot, so I was going to go with trainers and trail trainers. So in the end, I actually rotated 3 pairs of shoes. Thank God I did.
So we've got an important question for you. And this is from Shabby. Did Darren cover himself in mud on the walk? That's definitely.
It was bone dry.
You know, he just covered himself in glory.
Yeah.
I covered myself in sweat.
Oh God!
I mean, that was just horrific.
It was. I mean, again, we'll get to that in a little bit. But what about you, Martyn? How was you like preparing with what you were wearing and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, I was probably the least prepared of everybody. I didn't read the website once because I had an experience on the website that I will talk about a bit later, maybe, that completely put me off ever going back on that website. So I never went back on it. But
you two keep getting rinsed on that website.
That website took more money off me than Anyway, but the thing, I don't know who set it up, but whoever set up the Skywalkers WhatsApp group, that was my lifeline, because we were pretty much in there daily. What are you doing about this? Who's getting there? Oh, what socks did you get there? Oh, are they any good? Oh, so, you know, what would you recommend? And it was back and forth. And if it wasn't for, you know, you guys who were recommending stuff to me, I would have been buggered, because I just like Scott, and I'm assuming Darren and you, Stu, I didn't get a single blister the entire day.
No.
So, you know, all that advice with the right socks, the right footwear, I mean, it paid off massively in the end.
I mean, the thing is, it was only advice that we were given and stuff like that. Just because we give advice and what's good for one person doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be right for someone else. And at the end of the day, you guys had to do what was best and what was comfortable for you. So, I mean, I've always gone by putting Vaseline on my feet because when I was younger, I played a lot of football. And, you know, even, you know, through the years, I was using Vaseline on my feet to help prevent the rubbing and blisters and stuff like that. So I found that it worked for me. And I know that you used it, you know, a little way through the walk there, Darren. So,
yeah, I mean, I hadn't used it before. But like, as Martyn said, we were all sort of able to sort of throw in tips and ideas so that when it came to the day, there were things we could try. And certainly by Sunday morning, the Vaseline wasn't working for me, but certainly the first day it definitely did. And Martyn and I got something else at Plumstead, which I don't know about Martyn, that hour going up that hill was the most comfortable hour.
That really annoyed me. When you guys told me about that, that really did sort of like wind
I don't know
up.
if I mean, no idea. It worked on my feet, whether or not it don't know. But Martyn and I put it on our feet, was just like, oh my God, that is bliss.
I have to say there was 3 key things for me. The toe socks were just absolutely amazing. The Vaseline, I don't think I've ever used as much Vaseline in my life as I did on that 24 hours. I mean, it was slopped everywhere, mate, honestly. But for me, the most important thing on that walk was the walking canes or the sticks or whatever. What do you call them? I nearly didn't bother with those, and by halfway around, that they were taking all my weight to the point where my biceps were hurting because all of my body weight was on those sticks as we were going up the hills. I mean, they were absolutely incredible. Anyone who's walking in the future and long distances, I can't recommend those enough.
Well, we had a chat, didn't we? We had a group chat a few days before, and both Darren and Scott come and said, right, you've got to get these sticks, you've got to get these poles. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. No, we highly recommend them. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll get them. And again, when it comes to it, I'll tell you the story about that. Let's just
you liked them so much.
Stop it. Yeah. What was this? Just noticed Martyn's hand silo is slightly off centre compared to all the other car banks behind him. Wow. Well, made Steph look anyway, but there you go. What's this? That's just cool, Connor. Funny but cool. Absolutely. Don't think I've used that much Vaseline in my life, Martyn 2020. He opens himself up, doesn't he? I mean,
stick that on a t-shirt.
I'll take it to bed with me now.
I can understand the Vaseline, talcum powder, and baby wipes, but why did Darren bring a nappy to? Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah,
I can tell you about that in a little while. Oh my Lord!
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
I say that's bluff shabby. Right, so we come to the day of actually booking the event. Now, I was at work and I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm going to take 5 minutes because we're quiet. I'm going to sit down and book this. And then I started getting busy again. So I thought, oh, do you know what? So do you know what? I'll wait until I get home and do it then. Well, then about an hour later, we had another quiet moment. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. So I've got the website up. I'm sitting on the work computer, getting it all sorted out. And I felt quite chuffed that I'm doing something and didn't have to get Georgie to do it for me. So,
there was something wrong there.
No sooner as I'd sat down and started getting sorted out and I was sort of like going through it and looking through it, I started getting busy again. I was like, so I kind of rushed it. So I ended up booking the event. And I messaged the guys and said, right, here we go. This is what you need to do. You need to book this option because we had options 1, 2, 3, and 4. I've booked option 4. And then when I booked it, I was getting these emails coming through saying, well, you need to set up a GoFundMe. You need to, your charity will get in contact with you. And I was like, okay, so we've already raised the money for this charity. And it didn't give me the option to like raise money for that charity, Give Kids the World. So I had to put something else instead. So I was like, oh, no, what a nightmare. And then about half an hour later, Scott messages in the group and says, I think you should have booked option 1, Stu. And of course, Martyn, you creased me up because you were getting proper wound up. Oh, what all the while, Darren's just sitting there on holiday yet.
I was on holiday, that's right.
Somewhere, weren't you, Darren?
Yeah, I was in Tenerife on a sunbed.
The really stupid thing is I did send that message to Stu, but after following his instructions and incorrectly booking myself on, writing to this same charity saying, "Oh, we're actually raising for this, but we've got to put a charity out, so our team captain's chosen you." And thinking, why the hell am I doing this? And then I message him, not Georgie. I message Stu. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we should have known straight away.
We should.
If Georgie wasn't involved, this wasn't going to end well, and it just was a complete and utter disaster because I was trying to do it on. I mean, I made the mistake of trying to do it on my phone. I should have waited in front of the computer to do it, but that's not. I'm not going to take the blame for that. Stu basically told us what to do. We did exactly what he told us to do, and it was wrong.
He's our captain.
It got to the point, didn't it, Stu, that I got so angry. I just literally.
I tell you what, I was like, oh no, I could just imagine you sitting there because I know that you can get frustrated quite quickly. And I was like, oh dear. So I then think, shit, I've booked the wrong one. I've just told the guys to book the wrong one. So I've then gone back onto the website and spent ages, and I meant ages, looking through, trying to find what to do and how to change it. So then I had to go through the website and change it all. And I think it was Martyn, because I said to you about changing to you guys to change it in the group. And this is when Martyn's starting to get really annoyed.
So I changed it. I went and changed it, and I had to pay a £20 fee.
Yeah, but you changed it to you still changed it to the wrong one.
Yeah, I know I did. And then I had to change it a third time and got another £20 fee. So at this point I could have done the walk twice nearly.
Didn't you have to phone someone up at some point and he knew who you were?
Someone phoned me and I was like, I don't recognize that number, so I googled the number and it said Ultra Challenge, and I thought, brilliant. So I phoned back and it was a guy called Dan. What a nice guy. So I spoke to Dan and told him of my monumental error, and that there will be other guys that are going to be needing to call you because they are in the same predicament, funny enough. So I put in the group chat, I think I sent you to you personally, Martyn, as well. Like, call this guy, he'll sort it out. So you called him.
Yeah.
And what was his response?
Yeah, I said, hi, my name's Martyn. I'm part of Team Skywalkers. I've just been given your number because Stu, our team captain, said that you'd be able to, organise it to get us into the right slots and stuff. And he goes, "Wow, I didn't think you were going to call me that quick." Yeah, absolute nightmare he is, isn't he?
Probably 5 minutes later, I called him and I went through this. I said, "Our team captain's done this thing." He says, "Are you one of Stu's?"
Unbelievable. So eventually, after all that, crikey, I was starting to sweat, and I was like, I don't believe this. And George is like, "Well, why didn't you wait for me?" And I'm a big boy now, and I can do things on my own. Obviously, bloody not. Darren, did you have any issues booking?
No, but I didn't book mine until I came back. I booked mine. I think it was about a week later, actually, to be fair. I did it when I actually came back from holiday because I wanted to be able to do it on the computer. Because trying to do it on your phone and stuff, actually, you need the big screen to be able to see everything. And also by that point, Georgie had given the correct instructions of what to do.
You had no issues at all. I don't know what the guys are complaining about.
Oh, that's right. It was dead easy.
Yeah. Oh dear. Let's catch up on the chat. That was yeah. I can only apologise. I find Vaseline is good for the feet. Also, another trick is an Uber. Good point. Is this where we find out that Stu ordered multiple sets of entry tickets?
Nearly.
I'll tell you what, not far off. Hang on a minute, Stu booked it. Did he sign up for multiple? Unbelievable. What is going on with you guys already? See?
Your reputation precedes you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously. We have seen his unboxing video before, Kieran. Well, there you go. What's this? That's the same as Stu ordering his walking poles. Don't wait for me to help. Well, look, how difficult was it to order? I'm going to tell the story now. All right, so basically, after these guys had hassled me into getting these sticks because I wasn't going to use them. I'm glad I did. I thought, okay, well, I'll order them. And I said to Darren, where did you get yours from? He goes, I got mine from Amazon. All right, okay, fair enough. Get me the next day, not a problem. So I went onto the site and I've booked it and I've ordered them. And it said, you need to pay an extra fee for shipping because it was in America. And if you want them here quickly and before Saturday, you need to get them here for Thursday. You need to pay some. I was like, for God's sake. I said, Darren didn't bother telling me that. So, of course, I booked them or ordered them from this American site on Amazon. Well, later on when I spoke to Georgie, she said, well, why don't you use the UK? And I said, because it's on America. It's on America. And she said, yeah, well, yeah, just swap it to UK. So I swapped it to the UK. And I said, it's still in dollar signs. Yeah, but you can swap it to pounds. No, it comes up in dollars. Yes, because you need to swap it to pounds. I was like, so I swapped it to pounds. I was like, oh, look, got it. Like that. Brilliant. So I ended up ordering myself another set of poles from the UK Amazon site, which would be here the following day. Brilliant. So it just so happens that I got an email from the American site saying, your payment has been declined for some reason. I don't know why. So I was like, okay, brilliant, fantastic. That's been cancelled. Awesome stuff. So the next day, my poles come through. I ordered red. I got purple. Bloody hell. Looked on my order form and they were actually purple. Crying out loud. And then on the Thursday before the walk, the poles from the States turned up. I was like, I don't believe it. So I had 2 sets of walking poles. So I kept the ones from the States and sent the ones back to the UK. And yeah, unbelievable. And that's my little story of the walking poles. There's no excuses, gentlemen. You've seen Stu's movie quizzes. This is hard, guys. This is hard. Martyn lost £40 because of this. Is that why he had to pay his own collection from? Yeah. Oh, Stu, just take your time and read things. I was at work. I was very busy at that moment. Steph, I bet Stu didn't wear his glasses when he did that.
Bet he didn't.
No need for that. There's no need for that. Most likely not. Unbelievable. What's this? I tell you, Kieran, if we ever do the collection room, I'm bringing Martyn. Outstanding job. Yeah, I mean, Georgie was well impressed with your shelves.
Thank you, Georgie.
It's stunning, Martyn.
Yeah.
I
felt a bit inadequate.
Yes.
about which thing?
I'll drive over when you want some shelves putting up, Georgie. It's all right.
Unbelievable. Lesson learned.
Don't say that, mate. Yeah. Steph will take you up on that as well.
Unbelievable. In bloody purple because you weren't wearing glasses. Well, I don't know what happened there. I just pressed the wrong button. Did you send them back? We had to sort out the. Hang on a minute. Whoa. So I sorted it out. I sorted the return out. You had to show me what to do, obviously, but I did it. And
I thought you had your own vintage store now, Stu, that you just put everything.
Well, George, it's nothing me. She's like this. Like the money's coming out of her ears with all the stuff she's selling off. And you took the return back. Yes, you did. Yes, Martyn's room is brilliant. It absolutely is. What's that? Yay, future shelves. God, right. So, did any of you train or prepare for the heat we had? Because I didn't. I knew that on the day anything could happen. It could be hot. It could be really cold. It could be wet and windy. I did not expect to have that heat we had that particular weekend. Even first thing in the morning when we're standing at the start line, Darren, it was horrendous. I mean, did you guys have any idea that it was going to be as hot as that?
No, I mean we saw. I think the week before the long range forecast was starting to look at least dry. So I was like, okay, don't have to worry about. Yeah, it looks like rain. We're going to be okay. Not have to worry about having sort of keep yourself. Because the last thing you want to do is get wet and then your feet get wet, and that's really tough.
Yeah, I was more worried about that, to be honest.
Yeah. But then as we got closer, it was like, okay, we're 7 days out and it's now saying the temperature is going to be 23, 24 degrees already. That's only going to go one way, and it did. It just kept going up. So by the time we came to do it, I think the forecast was, 28, 29 on the Saturday and 30 on the Sunday, but obviously feeling hotter.
Yeah.
No clouds at all. I mean, it wasn't even sort of, partly cloudy. It was just blue sky. And yeah, I guess you were saying about sort of what. I mean, I knew I was going to wear shorts all the way through. I had a jumper. I did have a jumper and a couple of tops for the night time, which I'm glad I did because I did need them. because they didn't want to get cold, and then you're wasting energy trying to keep,
Yeah.
you're going to go off getting cold. But yeah, it was always going to be sort of shorts with, it changes of clothes as much as possible at the stops to sort of get out of the sweaty stuff as much as you can.
Yeah.
But
I mean, so
I don't think you can
when
prep for
we
that.
signed up, when we signed up, I signed up for the full 100K. So did you, Darren. And initially, you did as well, Martyn, didn't you? So you signed up, and then you messaged me and said, "Can we have a chat?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And I don't know why, but you seemed to not feel comfortable telling me that you wanted to.
Well, I have many foibles, but one of my big foibles is I don't feel like ever want to let anyone down, and I felt like I'd committed to the 100K, and I felt like I was going to let the team down if I didn't do it. I know that's not the case, but it's just how I felt. And obviously, you said it was absolutely fine, and in a way, I'm really glad I did, because walking through the urban jungle of London in that heat I wouldn't have finished. I just wouldn't have done, because me and Scott, before we met you at the halfway line, I kept reiterating to Scott, probably to his annoyance, that the only thing that's going to stop me on finishing this walk is going to be the sun, because I'm not a big fan of the sun. I'm like factor 50. I hate, I hate anything to do with the sun. I hate being out in the sun, especially if I'm doing something like that. It's all right when you're on holiday, obviously, because you can jump in somewhere with some aircon and you're not sweating because you're not doing physical exercise. So I was really, really worried about that. And then when we got the forecast that weekend was going to be the hottest of the year so far, and probably on record as well, I think. It was kind of like, oh no. So I kept saying to Scott, "Oh, Scott, and we'll get into this later, but I've got a lot to say thank you to Scott and Darren for." But yeah, I was really panicked. But if I'd have done that initial 50K, I genuinely don't think I would have been able to carry on at the halfway point, because the sun would have got me. Because I think when you're walking through an urban area, the sun reflects off the pavements stuff a lot more, doesn't it? And I think it feels a lot hotter. So I probably would have struggled quite a lot.
You seem to come across a little bit more relaxed about the whole thing when we'd had that conversation about you doing, like, meeting us up at Tully's Farm instead of doing the full 100K.
Well, yeah, I mean, I fooled myself slightly into, thinking that, well, I'll be walking through on any footpaths or anything. It'll be countryside the whole way. There'll be no, walking through towns or anything like that. And there was a little bit of that, to be fair. But what I didn't take into account, and I'm sure we'll get there a bit later, so I won't go into too much detail, but there was this quite a long, probably about 1.5 kilometers of this chalk pathway, would you call it, Scott? And because it was white, the sun with no clouds was beating down on this white chalk. And honestly, my entire, all my clothes were wet with sweat. And I know that was one of the low points for me, but we made it. But so I was a bit more relaxed about just doing the 50 rather than the full 100. I mean, there's only one person here that was ever going to do the full 100, I think. If I'm honest.
Idiot.
But I mean, Scott, because you went for the 50K, didn't you?
I decided really early on. It was stressing me too much. It felt like too much to me. I was worrying about my feet, particularly, and so I didn't want to. I wanted to take part. I wanted to support, you and the charity.
And you did.
And so I said to you pretty early on that I thought that was probably going to be the best bet for me. And I felt trying to work out the logistics of it as well, of where we could stay and stuff like that. Because obviously Steph and Bodie were coming down as well, and trying to work out how all that would work. I needed to try and make the whole thing work. It was hard to know what everyone was thinking and was planning to do. So, that felt to me, that took a lot of pressure off me. To be able to do that and kind of have that self-contained sort of plan that I'd be there, meet you guys, hopefully, provide some support. And then we were chatting at the NEC. Martyn and I were chatting at the NEC, and I explained that's what I was doing, and I think that was kind of a bit of a light bulb, that there's an idea, because I think Martyn was, a little bit was thinking that this 100 might be a bit more than he could take on at this point, and and I just said, well, come with me, because the one thing at that point, because I was worrying as well that I was going to end up walking on my own, that perhaps none of you guys would be able to carry on.
Yeah.
Darren, I thought, again, Darren, because of his park runs and everything, I thought, yeah, there's a good chance Darren's fit and he knows what he's doing. But I knew that perhaps the rest of us were a bit inexperienced at this kind of distance and such like. So I was really relieved when that happened. When Martyn said he was going to do that, and that worked out really well.
I mean, the thing is, and what I've always pushed when it comes to our chat and stuff like that, in the groups, and I always wanted you guys to do what was best and what was comfortable for you, because it wasn't just me doing the walk; it was you guys as well. So obviously, I had to take that into consideration. So if you guys wanted to do half of it, that's absolutely fine. If you wanted to do the full walk, it's absolutely fine. You guys, I thought you were absolutely superb, and the support you gave is just incredible. So thank you very much. And like I say, the idea was for all of us to cross the line, and we'll get to that in a minute. But so we started off at Old Deer Park in Richmond, and we set off about 8 o'clock in the morning, didn't we? And we sort of went up through Richmond into Kingston, and then
hang on, you got to mention that your awkward warm up, that you really did not like doing the aerobic warm up, did you? You felt really...
I've never been good at step aerobics, and they were doing this poxy step aerobics class at the start.
Oh, why didn't you film that, Darren?
It was so awkward. It was hilarious.
Georgie.
Lift your leg up and do this and do that. I was like, for God's sake, I'm not. Do you know what I mean? No, I was never in the step aerobics. My coordination.
I was just to add, sort of on the way we ended up doing the challenge. It was, for me, it did echo sort of, I wouldn't say a bit of pressure, I suppose, because I'd always said, no, I'm going from the start. I'll be with you. Get you to Tully's. But the fact that we ended up being two pairs, it actually meant that, okay, that's really good now, because if it all goes Pete Tong and we get to Tully's and we're done, like say you two were, Martyn and Scott, you were going to be together, so it wasn't like you weren't on your own. So in the end, actually it turned out really good for everybody, because it was we didn't feel too much. I didn't feel too much pressure.
Thing. Up until a certain point, I felt absolutely fine. Yes, I started to ache and stuff like that, but I can honestly say the heat didn't help, because the more, I mean, we were saying, weren't we, Darren, when we were walking, it's really hard not to chug the water, because you wanted to chug, because it was that hot. It was horrendous. And I mean, I think the worst, so from point A to point B, the first stop, it wasn't too bad, was it? I think we coped with that quite.
We motored through it. I mean, we were busy. Some might say too busy talking, because we did miss.
Please explain, Darren.
We missed 2 turns.
That's what did
we just
the extra miles.
We carry on, and we suddenly hear this. And we turn around and like, oh shit, we've missed it.
That way. Yeah.
So we ended up looping back. We never walked to. I think the furthest we'd walked was about 100 yards past one of the turnings. And we were like, well, we really need to pay attention, and we're going to get screwed when it goes dark. We're going to be in trouble. But the first, we were just sort of gassing away. Shout out to Des. Thank you for sending those questions in. That was really cool. It's a sort of, but we were just putting the world to right. Talking about what we our life
that as well. The general public, the ones that we walking past the houses, that storms out with waters and the sprinklers and stuff like that. Yeah, absolute quality. And I mean, that was awesome. You just sprayed yourself with water and stuff like that. They called you down. This little kid said, "Oh, do you want some water?" I was like, "Well, yeah, okay." So I had some water and stuff like that. So, but I mean, they were awesome as well, weren't they, Darren?
Mm-hmm. I think it was cooler. Not that you would know it at the time, obviously compared to the Sunday, but then obviously we were fresher. We'll get on to sort of being a zombie on Walking Dead on Sunday. But so the first stint, lots of tree shade. Still the road, it hadn't really. I think we got to sort of the first break sort of around about sort of 10:30, which is pretty much what we expected to be. 11. Oh yeah, and nearly getting taken out on the Thames path by a park run coming the other way.
Oh,
they weren't giving any room to anyone. They were like, was coming straight through. So going through Kingston was really sort of down to Kingston was good. quite flat for that, obviously, for that first bit.
Yeah.
But like you say, it was taking on the fluids, taking on the electrolytes, really. So keeping all your levels where they needed to be, and then we got to lunch stop probably about two. I think it was 2:30 ish.
Well, yeah, because you went up over. Where was it? We went to over that second stint. We went up over.
So it was down to Kingston.
Yeah.
Kind of across towards Sutton.
Yeah.
Sort of a little bit above Banstead, but that's where we stopped for the second time, and then down or up and over into Coulsdon. And then up out of Coulsdon.
I think was the worst. Oh, because we met you. So I met for the first time Jess and Lucy. Absolutely brilliant. That was pretty cool. So they came along and supported stuff like that. And we're sitting there having lunch and stuff like that, and then we had something to eat, and then Darren needed the loo, and I went up to get some more electrolytes, and I've looked down and I've got this sticky stuff all around my sort of like crotch area, and I was like, for God's sake, what's that? So obviously, me being me, walked up to the two girls, Jess and Lucy, and Sarah was sitting there as well. Dan was there, and I said, what the hell? I said, look at the state of this. It looks like I've shot my load. And it was awful. And of course, the girls didn't know what to put in their face. I mean, I do apologise, girls. But yeah. So,
I don't point out my children are 20 and 18, so it was okay.
Yeah, so they were old enough. That was cool. But so I think, do you think that the event put on enough water stops, considering the heat?
In the end, yes.
Yeah.
But at that lunchtime one, we didn't know what was coming. So it was kind of, after lunch, I really struggled. I felt sick, and I had my first of only a few, but I had sort of, I get anxiety and panic, so I take medication for it. And at that point, Stu was brilliant. We had a good old chat about it, and I said, right, when I go quiet, because what happens is I get this sort of wave of nausea and a bit like pins and needles, like really hot flush, and then break out in a cold sweat. And I had that a couple of times after the lunch when we were walking, and I'm like, oh my God, we've only done 25k, we've got a long way to go. Yeah. And that was a real low point, one of the first low points for me. And yeah, that second, so the first two stints were 12.5 kilometers each.
Yeah.
So we'd done 25 by the time we got to lunch. The next one was 17.
That was absolute
long.
That was horrible, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, we went from like 3 o'clock through to, what was it, about 7 o'clock? I think we got to.
You got your sticks out then, didn't you? As we're going up over the pools. And I wish I would have done that as well. But we had some member of public squat on her face, didn't we? She was nice.
We did. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think it was our comment. It's not. I think we put it in the chat at the time that we've just met a lady on the common, and she squirted in her face. Yeah, happy days. I mean, that was never in the brochure. That was on the website. Yeah. She was walking, and you and I were both like, "Has she got water pistols? I think she's got water pistols. Oh, she's got water pistols."
Yeah. It was superb.
But I mean, people with their houses and filling up water and stuff because it was. Yeah, they wanted you to carry about 2 liters if you could, which is a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And we got through way more than that. And yeah, certainly in that second stint.
What I found was the more you drunk, the more I drunk, the more I sweated. And of course, I wasn't replacing the fluids as I should have been, like the electrolytes and stuff like that. So I could feel my balance going. I would say definitely after that 17-kilometer stretch, I just like, oh Christ, this is heavy going. But then it started to cool down a little bit in the evening, didn't it? As the sun started to set, and it was going okay. And we got to the third rest point. We stayed there for about half an hour, 40 minutes or so. And you were just that's why I spilled the water in my lap.
That's right. You went from jizzing yourself to pissing yourself. Yeah. On the chair. Again, my girls were there, and they bought the massage gun. So Stu and I were using that gun. That was a lifesaver. Yeah. But I don't know what, I could not eat anything at this point, and I was really struggling. And I was like, shit, am I going to be able to keep going? That stop was really hard for me. I tried to eat something. I took like a real small mouthful, and I can't do it. The only thing that what I figured out was that the caffeine and energy gels that I was using.
Yeah.
If I took those, it settled everything right down, and then I could eat. So before we left that stop, I took one of them, started to eat a biscuit, took a little bit, and then I filled up a paper bag because they had a big pick and mix.
Yeah,
I had a load of cola bottles and jelly beans, and then I just kept eating those as we went through. And I think we had the conversation, didn't we, as the sun went down, because we stopped sweating, or weren't sweating anymore. We can now start replenishing our electrolytes and our salts and things through drinking and taking on the gels and things that you just couldn't do in that heat. In the sun, in the full sun.
And I think by that time, I started to after I used the massage gun, I didn't feel too bad, and my feet were okay. But I think that stint then from stop 3 to Tully's Farm, it just seemed to me every kilometre seemed a little bit longer. It just because I was, do you know what I mean? It was like
it was really weird. I mean, looking back now, it's obvious we were slowing down, so it just felt like it took so long.
You told me off for marching. You said, "Right, you're marching."
I did actually, at one point. Yeah, I did. There were a couple of times when I said, "You need to slow down. We're going a bit too quick." But I just, I didn't appreciate you were starting to struggle as much as you were. I mean, we would take breaks and we would stretch. Yeah. And obviously, as it got dark, the head torches went on. But there were some long roads, sort of like, and once
that one round the back of Gatwick was, oh my god!
And once it got dark, and this was one of the things, but Scott and Martyn both we struggled with, was you've got no perception of how far you're going because you can only really see the next glow stick. So at that point, I think do you remember the two people that we saw that were checking out? We'd gone round that bend up that path,
and
we were like,
down for about 10 minutes, didn't we? Just sat down for 10 minutes.
Yeah, and we were like, oh, they're so close. But it was from that point. I think it still took us an hour to get to Tully's from that point. So you can understand why they did check out of that. They were like, no, it was done. They had to stop.
Well, you were saying it's so close. You're so close, weren't you? Because we were talking about it, and they're saying they're so close and stuff like that. And I was like, oh man, that's got.
It was still an hour. You're looking at it, it is really close. It's only 4K, but we slowed right down. It was going to take us there. And we were like thinking, at one point we were thinking, we're going to get to Tully's about 9-10 o'clock. And then that went out the window, and it's like, oh no, 11. No, that's gone out the window.
We did that down. Let's just quickly catch up with the chat. So, more stew to dish on Terry's Sunday night. Brilliant, lovely. But did you? No, I didn't send them back. Georgie did it. So you need to know. The heat is bad. It was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. Absolutely unbelievable weather. I can't believe you guys soldiered on in the heat. Well,
leave it away. It's all right.
Please don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Martyn doesn't do well in the heat. Do you not?
Martyn does very well in the heat.
Oh, okay.
Martyn did really, really, really well in the heat.
We say hello to each other. I don't cope well in the heat, so I can relate to Martyn's woes. I think if it wasn't for the heat, I think I would have lasted a little bit longer. But that heat, it just absolutely zapped me, and it was like I got to a certain point, and I was feeling fine, and we'd sat down, and rubbed the legs. I took one of the gel things and stuff like that, and we walked on down that again road that seemed to take for flipping ever to walk up, and that's when we saw the couple coming past us. And then we carried on going, and I think by then I was like, okay, this is starting to hurt. My feet were starting to throb, and I was like, okay, I've not experienced that before, and that was like really painful. And my legs were just cramping up. My calves felt like they wanted to explode. So we just carried on going and going and going, and we sat down again. I think we must have been 20 minutes out. Oh, he's gone. He's had enough.
Come here. Yeah, that's right. We found those foam piping, didn't we? We sat on there for a bit.
Yeah. And you're saying it's literally around the corner, so to speak. So,
and I put that what it was. I think we were within about a kilometre at that point.
Yeah, but I just say every kilometre, even though it was like I think it was at 58 kilometres where Tully's Farm was. It was like 54 kilometres. So from 54 to 55 seemed to be the longest kilometre in the world. Then 55 to 56 and 50 is like, and that you said to me as we walked, because it was all uphill as well, and because you can't see because of the darkness and stuff like that. You don't realise you're going up a hill, and it's not just like a little hill and stuff like that. It's a long winding gradient sort of hill, very subtle, and then they sort of like put a bit like that at the end, and then it's all downhill. And I found going up the hill and no real sort of like flat surface, so to speak, and then coming down, it was playing havoc with my feet and my calves and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, this is really starting to hurt. And you said to me as we were going down the hill, and it was like walking through the bushes and that really narrow woodland path. You're right there. I said, no, I'm just trying to get through this fucking shit sort of thing. Because at that time, I really wasn't happy. And we walked up to Tully's farm, and Lucy and Sarah were there. And as we were walking past, Georgie came out of the car, and I just went and gave her a big hug. And I just said, she said, I said, I'm hurting. And I can't believe how quickly I hit that wall, and I'm absolutely gutted. So we got to Tully's farm, and no word of a lie, I looked like a 70-year-old guy just shit himself the way I was walking. I was all over the place. My feet, my calves were killing me. And I sat down, and you guys, Martyn and Scott sit there, are we ready to go? Are we ready to go? Like little bunnies with Duracell bunnies and stuff like that. Like, just wait. And Darren was saying, take time, take the Eddie's feet up, take time. I'm the pro, take your time, listen to me. So I went and had a massage. So I ended up taking my flipping bottoms off. So I got my little chicken legs out. And then all of a sudden I got cold. And I was like, for fuck's sake, I've gone from like being really hot to now sitting there freezing. So he massaged my feet and my legs and my calves. And normally after that, you feel you're kind of okay. But it didn't seem to do anything. And then I went to get my feet taped up because I had to take the tape off my feet and stuff like that to get massaged, and he didn't bother rubbing like the oil off properly. So she tried to put the stuff on my feet that wasn't working, so I had to rub my feet down again, which was taking time. It took about 15 minutes to take my feet up. She was wearing gloves, and the tape was getting stuck to her hands. I'm like, for God's sake, what is this, like primary school type sort of thing? Do you know what I mean? So I wasn't very happy about that, and I ended up getting changed, and Martyn had to come over and help me with my chicken bits, didn't you? Because I was a doddery old bugger. And I was just, that massage didn't help at all. It just felt like my calves were going to explode, and my feet were absolutely aching. And normally when we sat down and had a break, I'd kind of like recovered and felt okay with it. I had some like drinks and stuff like that, replaced electrolytes and stuff like that. But I was absolutely gutted. I knew I'd hit a wall. You said take some aspirin, so or paracetamol or whatever it was, or ibuprofen. So I took that. And I think I knew then that my basic.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, we just sort of said, right, take some gels, get some food, get some drugs. Because in that last bit, we can't, like I say, I just hadn't really sort of, we were both struggling, but I hadn't really sort of, I was going the other way. So you were hitting the ball, and as we were getting closer to Tully's, I was having a high because I was like, I've made it to the halfway point, and I was feeling brilliant. Probably the best I'd felt on the whole point of that walk, especially having, I suppose, again, the anxiety and everything, and not being able to eat anything at that third stop. And to be fair, I think I had a couple of chicken strips at Tully's. That was it. I still couldn't eat anything.
But the thing is as well, I mean, mentally I felt fine, but then it was started to play as we get closer and closer to Tully's. I'm thinking, am I going to be able to carry on with this? Am I going to be able to walk any further? And I kept on saying to myself, I've got to get to Tully's. Let's get to Tully's. So we got to Tully's. And like I say, after that massage on my calves and my feet, it did bugger all. It just felt like my calves wanted to explode. Now, I set out to do the 100K. Now, I know getting to Tully's farm was a great achievement, but I'm pretty much like you, Martyn. I set out to do something. And as far as I'm concerned, I didn't complete it. So as overall, the bigger picture, I'm really pleased for you guys and stuff like that. And then as a group effort, we did really well. Personally, I feel disappointed and that I didn't complete it because that's not what I set out to do. I wanted to do that. So I think
I know I
really
would
sort of like hit me hard as well. So I was like, I feel absolutely broken and gutted.
We were. I'd feel the same. Yeah, I totally get it because I would be of the Marty probably the same. It'd be like, even though Stu, you did the best part of 60 kilometers and you did an ultra because obviously the marathon's 42, so you went way further than that. So in terms of achievement that we, doing that first stint, it counts. But like I say, we had signed, the aim was we wanted to do the 100. But it was, I guess, for me, at that point, I was kind of like, once you were like, no, you're done, and you were like, no, you definitely not, you were stopping. It was like, partly it was a bit, oh shit, okay. And then it was kind of like, right, well, I better get these two going. And actually, in carrying on, because I was in the back of my mind, it was like, if you were carrying on, I always thought I had the option that I could stop. Not that I wanted, I felt okay.
I said, that's it, blame me. Cheers, pal.
No, but it was kind of like, oh, okay. Then it was, and I felt okay to go. It was, I said to Sarah, I said, no, do you know what? I'm actually feeling really good at the moment. It's cooled down. Yes, I'm in pain, but it's manageable. And, dare I say, Martyn and Scott were going to get me to the end, and if I went, then they couldn't stop.
I didn't have any blisters. My back didn't ache, which was two of the main things.
My hips and my back, I was fine.
But because of my feet, I think if it hadn't been for my feet, I think I could have managed with the calves, because I could have managed that. I could have taken on more water, more electrolytes and stuff like that, and really got the levels back down, got rid of the crank, stopped every now and again just to massage. But I knew that if I'd have carried on, I would have got 20 minutes, half an hour down the road, and I would have been. And the thing,
even though it's slightly shorter, the second stint is mileage-wise is a bit shorter than the first stint. I think my splits were pretty much bob on. It is halfway. I think it took 16 hours to get to Tully's, and it was another 16 hours.
I mean, it was. I mean, we got to Tully's at 12:15, and we set up at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I mean, that was a long old day, and I'm just gutted that I didn't get to spend time really with Martyn and Scott on the walk. So that's by the by. We'll get on to the second part in a second. Let's just quickly catch up with the chat. Augusta G8 averages 90. Oh, brilliant. Okay, there you go. Well, I'm not going to be walking too far there, G4.
Well, it was in the 90s on the Sunday. It was, it was up in the 30s, wasn't it?
End of June.
Yeah, it was very hot.
But aircon. Yeah, you got aircon.
Yeah.
You're melted. Yeah, we will. Now, what's this? How is there no footage of Stu doing? Because luckily, no, I think Georgie and Sarah.
They were waiting for us to start, weren't they? Yeah.
Thank God for that, because I'd have just been sitting there. I'd have been like a dad dancing. I was just like that. That's probably why I didn't do the rest of the walk, because I didn't do the warm up. You've got to do your stretch and shoot. Oh, listen, mate. I know. I was stopping stretching. Those sticks were genius. They did come in handy. I'm glad I got them in the end. That silly CL match had me so anxious you couldn't have got a pin in my arse with a jackhammer. Oh, well, there you are. Lovely. Want to test that theory? God's sake. Steph, just look at the vintage footage of the Green Goddess from BBC Breakfast Time and you get the idea. I don't know what they're talking about. So, G-Force, what football does you? The highs and the lows. Okay. Park runners are like demolition balls. They do not care. And I think, we know that. Suppose enough points with y'all, anything's possible. Well, I'm not going to be jackhammering your ass, that's for sure. Great work. That lad's prepared graphics, maps, and diagrams for all this technical talk. Hello, TJC. Hoping you're keeping well, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Another Stu stuff. Yeah. Plenty of them. I will just quickly catch up with the chat because there's been lots, and I do apologise. Oh, she used water pistols. Yeah, unfortunately, but it was cool. We take what we can get back then. Kieran, what's that you say? They say, but I've heard other rumours. Okay, yeah. I'll have to remember to bring my massage gun if you guys do. Yes, yeah. Massage. Yeah, it's like a gun with like a ball on it and it vibrates. It's a massage gun. I don't know what the yeah. Just in case we have a massage gun. Well, not that you know of, Martyn. Not that you know of. Darren is powered by cola bottle sweets. Explains everything. Absolutely awesome. Yes, we do. Mum got it for me for Christmas. Well, there you go. Let me guess. It's in your bedside.
Careful.
Steph calls it a massage gun, Martyn. Hello, Gary. How are you? I'll remind Jeff Parker to bring the massage gun to Joe Fest. Well, we're not going to be walking that far, Gary, for crying out loud. Well, whatever floats your boat, glow stick. Were you raving? No, so they had glow sticks on every, like, you know, the arrows to point us which way to go.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Spot on.
Good evening, Gary. Everybody saying hi to Gary. You should have rolled down. Yeah, very good. I was thinking about. I almost rolled down the bloody hill. I tell you. Stu's flashed his pony. I didn't flash my pony. What? I didn't flash my pony. I can't imagine a massage gun. Are they a bit like a t-shirt cannon? No. More like a tattoo gun with a rubber ball at the working end. Put something like that. Yeah. The right call can be the hardest. Honest to God, it really did hurt, and I was absolutely gutted. I just, thumps the hell out of your muscles. It does. Yep. Full Victor Mildew, Stu. Honest to God, it was close. I wasn't very happy. I can totally understand how you feel about not completing it, Stu, but it was the right decision looking back. It was, and I'd get into that at the end, because on our journey, we met a guy, didn't we? It was at the top of this hill, and it was like a real narrow path, and it went on for what, about a mile and a half?
Yeah.
That wide path all the way down. It wasn't a great path. And he'd run out of water, didn't he? And he was like, God, I don't know what to do. And he was on his own, and we said, do you want some water? We got some water, and he said, you should be all right. We got to the bottom of that hill, and there was like a water stop, wasn't there? So, you know, that was cool. But yeah. So talk us through the second part of the chat. We'll start with Martyn and Scott, because you guys were like pretty excited bunnies.
Well, yeah.
When we got to
don't forget, they've been to the pub and had some beer.
I was going to say,
they shared their lovely picture with their lovely ice cold pints with us while we were out in the heat. Yeah.
Yeah, we met up about 5 o'clock at the pub and had a nice meal and a couple of pints, and then sort of got ourselves ready. And our two Stephs were staying together with the dogs, so you know, we were all at one place, and we kind of got ourselves. You know, I was still trying to take things out of my rucksack. I mean, no one will believe that because it was so heavy. But I was still trying to take bits and pieces out of my rucksack.
Your rucksack weighed a ton.
It did. I don't know what was in there, because it still weighed as much at the end as well. So I don't know what it was, but I think Steph had a brick in there or something, maybe.
Yeah.
So we travelled up. We got there about 9:15, didn't we, Martyn? I think. And it was kind of weird waiting. We were watching people walk in. We were watching people start again. We were kind of a little bit bored, a little bit agitated. We were both worried about the heat. I think we were both grumbling about the heat. We were, you know, I guess as time went on, we were getting a little bit frustrated. Where are they? Because we did want to get going. We were conscious the more walking we could do in the night, the cooler it would be. We'd avoid some of that direct sun the next morning. So yeah, and then finally they turned up, didn't they? And
what time do you call this?
Bit of a shock. Sarah walked in first, Darren's wife, and she said they're broken. And Darren came in and sat down, and he looked a little bit away. You know, he looked a bit, you know, away with things. And then, like,
staring out to distance.
You couldn't describe it better. The sight that kind of tottered into Tully's farm and eventually made it over to us was, you know, quite. But he looked physically in pain, but he also looked psychologically a bit gone. So.
I was, because, like I said, I think I knew I'd hit that wall, and I don't think. And I know Darren tried to calm the situation down by saying to take your time with no rush and blah 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 blah. I was conscious that it was 12:15 at night, that you guys wanted to get going. I was conscious that Georgie had stayed up until that time of the day as well to meet me and get me like a change of clothes and stuff like that. So all these factors were going around in my head, and I think psychologically it was the right decision, because I was like pondering it, and I just said, right, I think I've come to the conclusion, I'm done. And that was it. I wasn't going to hear any more of it. So, and it was only fair on you guys, because, like I say, it was. I mean, I think you left at about 1:15, didn't you guys? In the end,
I think
something
so.
like that. Yeah.
I think it got.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. Yeah, I wasn't really paying much attention. I knew what time we get to the areas, but I had no idea how long we were there for them. And I mean, one of the things I'd been worrying about was if we did go all the way through, was needing to sleep. And because I felt so sort of awake when we got to Tully's and actually sort of quite G'd up, it was kind of actually I was okay to go. And I thought, okay, if I need to stop, well, stop, you know, and sleep. In the end, I didn't need to sleep apart from 10 seconds. 10 seconds, I fell asleep.
It was about 8:30 in the morning, wasn't it?
Yeah. and yeah, we just sort of hit that first bit and had our jackets on for the first sort of kilometre or so while we warmed up. Headlights on, and away we went.
So how did you find that, Martyn, walking in the night? I mean, because I mean, I could tell by the look on your face that you really were excited about it, and that you looked like a bunny that had been sort of like wound up and stuff like that. And you just want to put them on the floor and you're gone and gone off. Exactly. Yeah. And you're on mute. You're on mute.
I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
How about now?
Yeah,
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, I was conscious. I was ready. I was like, right, I want to go. I'm gonna speed. But then I thought, oh, actually, Darren's just done 50 odd kilometers. I better hold back.
You took his feelings into consideration.
And then, well, let me finish. I had to keep up with Darren. Darren set the pace, I'd say, for 80% of the second half of that walk. And Scott and I were fresh. So we'll give Darren plaudits all through this chat, but that's the first one he gets. But walking through the night was fantastic. It was almost like, I think cool. Darren had got really bored talking to you for 12 or 14 hours, so he was like, "Oh, fantastic! I've got a couple of people really fresh to talk to now. A bit more better looking. So he was like really excited about that. But it was great. Walking through the night, it was like following all the glow sticks in front of you. You were walking past people's house at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's like people asleep on the sofa, and they've fallen asleep in front of the TV and left the curtains open. It was hilarious. There was so many like really random, bizarre things like that happening. But the first leg, I speaking for me, I was like, oh yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that. That was really good. But the sun was starting to come up just as we reached the tent for the first stop. But one of the things that I would say that really kept me going the whole time was routine. It was, every time we went past a sign that said the kilometer number that you'd got up to, that was like a big moment for me. That was like, right, psychologically. And Darren and Scott really instilled that into me towards the end of the walk. But also when we stopped and got to each of the stoppage points, I went through a process, and the same process every single time, socks off, dry my feet, apply more Vaseline, new socks, get some food. When it was sunny, put the suntan lotion on, and it was those processes for me that got my mind sort of in the right place, because we'll get to the later in the walk, but it became really important to me.
What about you, Scott?
Yeah, no, definitely. He's absolutely right. I mean, walking through the night was great. It felt like we were kids who'd snuck out and we're messing around out in the middle of the night. It cooled down. It was nice. It was probably still 14 or 15 degrees, but it felt so lovely. Yeah, and I say there's this trail of glow sticks, and you'd see some other walkers ahead of you, and they were glowing as well, because we all got the head torches on. And that was really nice.
Did you see many people out walking? Because I think they got to a point where me and Darren were walking, the people were very, very sort of like scarce. We didn't sort of like see too many people. Well, the ones we did see, they'd overtaken us, bastards.
I think we were
there was quite a group, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a group ahead of us, wasn't there? We kept sight. We ended up passing them, I think, at some point, maybe. But
we did. Yeah, we caught them, and then they would come past back ours, and we'd sort of see at that point we'd see sort of a few regular familiar faces, I suppose, as we were going along. But I mean that was a nice. I mean, it was in the extent that you and I have done as Stuart. Obviously, we've been in the dark for a couple of hours, and you and I were speaking about how it was just once that sun started to go down, and we kind of went, "Thank you, off you go. We don't want to see you again for at least a few hours." And then obviously the first stint with the guys down to Ardingly, and I don't appreciate looking back at it now. There is a big hill that we went up and over, but obviously it's not. You've got no idea where. I look back on the map and I'm thinking, I kind of not roughly know where we went.
Yeah, that was quite uphill, wasn't it? That first one.
Yeah, and then sort of around the reservoir, we ended up sort of a big down and then a big up and sort of dogleg round. But that Ardingly stop, it was, I had picked up chafing by that point.
You mentioned that previously when we were walking.
I think it was because we were sweating so much. So I had shorts and then some running shorts on underneath, which normally that's okay with some Vaseline, it's fine. But it just over those hours with the sweat, it hadn't. And so by that point, my bottom was very much red raw, really red raw. So it was just sort of, and my feet. Probably by that point, the feet started to ball. So it was kind of the balls of the feet and the toes were starting to really sort of hurt. And that was really the sort of the two pains that were going to be right. I'm going to have to go through the next sort of best part of 16 hours trying.
How long was that second part of the leg, by the way? Was that again another 16 hours?
So we left
1 to 4:15. So.
Yeah,
about 15.
About 15, 16 hours. Yeah.
I mean, for anybody, that is a long time, especially when you're walking.
Okay.
And we've been awake since the previous.
Yeah, I mean, that was it. These guys weren't. I mean, they say they were fresh. I mean, they were from a walking perspective, but they've been up at the same time.
I've been up.
Martyn and Scott have been up exactly the same amount of time that you and I had, Scott.
And we had a couple of points.
All right.
And I just, every time I got to a stop, I didn't want to sleep. I didn't feel I needed to sleep, actually.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, okay, right, we're just, because that was one of the things that I did worry about, was that my need to sleep versus the guys wanting to keep going, and whether or not I would be able to cope with that, without sort of, being too much of a dead weight and, just sort of not being able to do it. But we got to finalise it. The sun had just started to come out the door. The birds were going mental. Hard in line, we got to marker 69. So obviously we had to have a picture taken at marker 69.
Leaning as well. They're both leaning.
That's right. Yeah, we did lean against it. Yeah.
Leaning
and then we were, and I kind of knew that area a little bit, so I kind of knew where we were. We went past the viaducts with the trains going along.
Oh, nice.
And then we ended up, then it was sort of another hill up through woodland. We were all having a slight tummy ache, so we were farting like troopers as we went up the hill. And do you remember the guy that was following us? And we were like, who the hell's that? We weren't sure if it was a walker or not. And then he disappeared.
James' character, wasn't
it? Sort of like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, there's this guy just following us through these woods. And what's going on?
I won't pee.
I'll catch up in the chat in a minute, guys. I promise I'll put your message up in a second.
I can't use portaloos. It's just like a thing I can't do. And I had to stop several times. And I had to find gaps between groups. So, because for some reason, I wasn't like getting rid of the water through sweating. So I was standing there having a pee for about 2 minutes sometimes, and I could see people coming, and I was like, come on. And then there was this psycho guy who was literally following us, and he wasn't a walker or a runner or anything, and I was thinking, oh no, I'm going to get killed in the forest. I'm going to get killed in the forest.
Oh dear. Right, on that note then, just let me quickly catch up with the messages. G-Force, so a massage gun literally beats you up. Well, they're talking about massage guns still. I now wish you had half a tattoo. No, I'm not having any more tattoos. Just your right amount, JT. Well, you didn't need a massage gun. I know some people. Oh, that's nice. What's this? Just the back half of the pony, Gary. I'm not having any more tattoos. All right. Actually, I'm going to have one more. I've still got to get that done. I give nothing props to all 4 of you. I wouldn't have done it. And like walking. Oh, no, appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Same here, G-Force. Thing is, after Stu called it, I nearly had to give him a piggyback to the car. Yeah. I mean, I can't remember the journey home, really. I was pretty much Sparko, and I was going to go home, have a shower and stuff like that, but I just got back home, bed, sleep, I was gone. The point is that you did your best, Stu, and you can't ask for more than that. I still believe you did an amazing job. No, thank you very much. No, I am to a degree. But even from an early age at school, I was like, very competitive. If I was in 100 meters, I wanted to win it, and I wanted to win everything that I took part in or complete everything, because I've done everything that I said I'm going to do so far for these challenges. I've grown the beard, I've done the tattoo, my head says I can do things. My body says, no, you fucking can't, son. And that's what pisses me off. And that really does annoy me to a degree with that. Walking through the night is super fun. That's how I describe it. Like kids hiking for me is like being a kid exploring and just talking shit. Well, yeah. We talk plenty of shit.
We talked a lot of shit.
Hello, Ron. How are you? Nice of you to join us. Thank you very much. Hoping you and Ander are keeping well. Hi, Adam. Hope you're having a good time in the Netherlands. Stu wouldn't know Adam. Oof. Wow. It's all good. I know the feeling, Darren. I went to Catholic school. Stu, bottom is often red raw from being smacked by Georgie. Yeah, but I like that. I don't mind that. Oh, everybody say hello to everybody. Airbnb has been a long day. Just got back from a meal with Vito and Camilla. Very nice. Hope you're having a lovely time. Tell them I said hello. There's no shame in Portaloos. Just remember Lineker crapped on a pitch once. Well, there you go. And I think is that the last one? Must be.
Looks like it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've got a fear of Portaloos, Martyn. I mean, to be fair, I went into a couple along the walk and stuff like that, and they were bloody roasting in there. It was like sitting in a sun.
It's not
that
a
one.
fear.
Yeah, when I went to that one at lunchtime, and I came out, I probably was quite green just because it was like sitting in a sauna. Because they were just out in the full sun all the time.
Yeah, it's not so much a fear. I've had a bad experience, which we will certainly not be talking about because you know the one, Stu.
Can I? What I will say is we were just about to do a live stream, and I was on with Adam and Martyn, and they told me the story. Martyn told me the story, and honest to God, I have never laughed so much in my life. I was absolutely gone. I could just imagine him being in that situation, and then when he was talking through the story, I could see what was going to come next. So of course, that set me off even more, and I was gone. Absolutely brilliant.
We'll save that for a special edition or something.
yeah. So I mean, did it get to a point, Scott and Martyn? Because I know Darren, you had your moments where you felt, right, I don't think I can push through and carry on. Was there ever a point for you guys, Scott and Martyn, that you got to that sort of like point where you thought, maybe I'm not going to be able to do this?
I got to about 23 kilometers in, and the balls of my feet, they started to hurt so much where every single bit of weight I put down on it was pain I've never felt before in my life. And for about an hour, I mean, please jump in, Darren and Scott, if it was any longer or shorter, but I in my mind for about an hour, I was starting to do the talking like, oh guys, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I can do this. And to their credit, they both were like, Martyn, stop being a fucking wanker.
To be fair, Martyn, you were very good because you would be, you'd be, obviously your feet were hurting, and obviously mine were, I was in the same camp as you. But every time you would say it, and then you would go, but I'm really sorry, Dan, because I know you've been walking longer than I have.
Yeah,
so I was like, no, it's fine.
I felt so guilty about complaining because Darren was on like 75k and I was on 23, and I was kind of like, but once we got to that stop after sort of I think it was the second stop or the third stop, I can't remember. It's all blur.
You guys had breakfast, didn't you? I was still, couldn't eat anything.
But once I'd got to that next stop, things kind of started to get a bit better, and it wasn't until the stop before last where I thought, that's it. No, there's no way I will literally crawl there if I have to. But there was about an hour where I wasn't sure, to be honest with you. But that's what your teammates are for, isn't it? It's I'm sure we'll talk about it at the end. But the camaraderie we all had was, it's something that I can't honestly describe. It was incredible.
Wasn't there a point in the walk where you guys got told to shut up?
I didn't know we had. I was too busy talking, but this lady came up. Well, Martyn, you were, but
we just walked. We walked like between this tiny alleyway between the back gardens of some houses, and we came out onto a road, and there was a bench next to a bus stop. So the guys sat down, and I did a couple of photos, like making a joke that we were going to get a bus the rest of the way. And then I messaged Steph I sent the photo to Steph, and she said, "Where's Stu?" And I put, "Stu didn't make it," and a little emoji of a gravestone. And she sent back, "R.I.P. Stu." And we were giggling about that. And all of a sudden, this woman came over. She's one of the Trek masters, they call them, and she shushed us because we were being a little bit noisy. And then she proceeded to kind of interrogate us like a deputy head or a PE teacher about where we'd started and what we were doing.
She wanted to know how long we'd been sat there, didn't she?
How long had we been sat there? She was worried that we'd upset somebody, probably, that some irate.
Literally go. That's what she was saying, wasn't it?
Basically. And then she was there lingering in the background all through the village. I can't remember what that village was called. That was on our way to the second stop, wasn't it? Where we had the breakfast. But that was quite funny.
Jobsworth.
Yeah, she was. And she was helping. So she walked some guy around. She was with this guy.
She did, yeah.
Whole way around, and, you know. So I'm glad she didn't. You had a good chat with her at one of the stops, didn't you, Darren, as well?
Yeah, and I had a chat with her at the end, sort of, because I know my friend she's done it before, and she'd been a Trek master, doing that same bit, the Crawley to Brighton bit. So I think she was just sort of mindful of. We were having a giggle, but it was 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning. We were getting shushed a bit to sort of not be too loud. I mean, the noise we'd be making walking down behind the people's gardens and stuff, and we haven't right.
After the
she was a bit of a Karen, Gary. Yeah, you're right.
She was, wasn't she? Yeah. After the second stop, Martyn said, "Well, we were waiting. Darren had gone into the Portaloo, and Martyn said, "Oh, I'm in a bit of discomfort. I'm feeling a bit of pain." And we started off, and we realised we were kind of almost halfway, and we were kind of quite elated. Martyn was not so; he was struggling a bit. So I was more worried for him not finishing it. I knew how he'd feel about not finishing it. I could see what it had done to you, Stu, the night before, and so I tried to be encouraging a bit. And
it was so funny. Your encouragement, Scott, is brilliant. It's like Scott will be pretending to talk to Darren, but just a little bit loud enough so that I could hear. He'd be saying things like, "Oh, look, Darren, there's only 2 kilometers left to go till we get to the next stop."
We're doing a really good pace. I think we'll be.
Hang on a minute. Was Scott's 2 kilometers the same as Darren's 2 kilometers?
Probably.
Because there's a couple of times when Darren said, "You've only got a little." We're almost there, and we just seem to keep walking. Oh, maybe a little bit longer. It's like, bloody hell.
There's this giant hill in front of us, and Scott's like, "Oh, this hill, I've read about it. It's hot. It's really easy to get over. It's it's not difficult at all." And then, "Oh, look, there's a tree over there. There's going to be plenty of shade when we walk over in that direction." It was brilliant. It was brilliant because
actually,
in a way,
I did sort of make a mistake of fairly early on in the morning. You could see the obviously the South Downs, but they were really far. And I said, "Oh, you can see that hill, not the one nearest, but the one way at the back. You're going up and over that." And I think that both Scott and Martyn were like, "Oh God, really?"
Went down like a lead
Well,
balloon.
no, because you said something similar to me, because I said, "Oh, look into the distance." I said, "You can't even see the coast from here." And you said to me, "Don't worry about that right now. Don't worry about that right now." And I think from that moment, I was like thinking, "Fucking hell, we've got a long way to go." We've already seen what. Do you remember that point?
I do, and I was thinking actually the other thing was when we were getting closer to Tullidge, and you were like, "What's that light in the trees?" But it was still an hour away, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not sure it is Tullidge," but I think it was. Yeah. And I kind of think actually because you'd seen it so far away, that was a psychological one, and we had the same when we got up onto the South Downs.
It was just there. Tullidge
we could see the race. We could see the racecourse.
For the you guys,
So you could see the racecourse. We pointed. That's the racecourse. That was 5 hours away. It took 4 to 5 hours to get that last.
I think one of the big things for me, and I'm sure Darren will agree with this, was thank God I took a second pair of footwear because I was able to swap between legs. So I went from walking boots, which are like really soft and spongy, to my Skechers, and I took a risk wearing Skechers because obviously there's no ankle support or anything, but just that change for that leg, wearing those and being on like cloudy type soles, instantly like got me you know, to the next leg, if you like. So
I
yeah,
think that's probably where I went wrong, Martyn. I didn't take a change of shoes with me because I didn't have anything else, and I didn't want to wear the Skechers and stuff like that. Maybe I should have just worn them anyway, because I don't know where I'm going with that.
It did. I would definitely bet it did help.
Yeah.
Me being able to rotate them.
Well, no, that's what I was going to say, because I didn't have any room in my bag, and maybe I should have put trainers in there instead of that bloody camera gear and stuff like that, because I didn't really need it, and I shouldn't have taken that. I don't think, because I was doing little updates on YouTube and stuff like that, posting them to YouTube, but filming wise, I didn't really sort of like film too much anyway, because I just wanted to concentrate and not taking the scenery, just wanted to get from point A to B as quickly and efficiently as possible. And I thought filming would have just slowed us down, and I didn't want to do that. So maybe I should have, in hindsight, taken a spare pair of shoes, like comfortable trainers and something like that. The weather was fine, it was okay in the morning, so I would have known it was going to be okay. So maybe that's where I went wrong. Maybe it was a change of shoes I needed.
I planned to, but I just couldn't carry them. I just couldn't keep them in my rucksack. So I took them out. So I went round I did it in my walking boots. I'd got some lighter ones, and I was going to take those, but I took them out. I think at your place, Martyn. I think I finally decided I can't take these. I can't fit them in. The bag was just too heavy, and so I changed my socks at least 3 times. So that helped massively, though. That really helped massively to put fresh socks on.
So what was the feeling like for you guys then? Because I remember saying to you guys, look, I see you at the finish line in Brighton Racecourse, and Georgie, when we got back or on the car on the way home, Georgie was saying, "Are you really wanting to get up that time in the morning?" And I said, "Well, yeah, absolutely, I will." Yeah, luckily you didn't get there till a certain part of the day anyway, so that gave me a bit of a line. But
plenty of time, mate. I mean,
plenty of time. Yeah. I was like, no, absolutely. I mean, the least I could have done was seen you at the finish line. Let me just quickly catch up with the chat. Not much chat as we're all listening to your stories. What's this? That's really odd. When you in someone company for a long time, you do speak about everything, and you eventually just talk about bowel movement moments and food. That's what I've. Wow, some interesting conversations then.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about our entire medical history with each other, didn't we?
That was a great story, Steph. I loved it. I couldn't. It was magnificent. Yeah. But you were there. You saw it. You witnessed it, Adam. Yes, you did. Sounds like a crap story, or very least covered in it. Not far wrong. We had to wait about 30 minutes before starting the stream, and she was like, "Oh God, honest to God, I was proper gone." Brilliant, Connor. Honestly, you're very close. Karen, absolutely. Hello, Matt. How are you? Nice you to join us. Thank you very much. You should be wary of local villagers. They always tell you to stick to the road and stuff. The more, everybody stand hello to each other. Dad's talk of encouragement. There you go. Yeah, absolutely. What's this? Tully seems to take forever to get to, going up the hill through the woods and to keep honest to God, like we were saying, it was right there, but we just walked miles away from it, and then back to it is mad. I think again psychologically that was a bit of a kick in the balls, but there you go. You guys think that walk is tough? Try walking from Mandalay Bay to Excalibur and Vegas. I'm going to say
you've got escalators, Matt. Come on, they've got moving walkways these days, haven't they?
Skechers are awesome. My feet used to kill me on days I was in the shop. Switched to Skechers, and no more sore feet for me. Don't mind a pair of Skechers. Young Scott, I picked you up a small gift today. Couldn't resist it. Not sure when you'll get it to you. Maybe just. He's probably got you a Dutch library book. Hello, 203557. I did it last year solo, about 20 hours all in. Oh, bloody hell. But I didn't have to hit. Wow. Do you know what? That's the thing. We watched a guy, myself and Georgie, we watched a guy last year running it. And the weather was completely different. And I've got to say, I take my hat off to you, P, for doing that on your own. Because we saw that guy, didn't we? The guy that we saw at the top of the hill that we overtook, he overtook us, didn't he, during the night? And he was doing it on his own because he was doing it for dementia. I think his mum passed away or something like that. So something along those lines. But yeah. So you get into you get Brighton Racecourse interview. What's going through your mind then, guys? Even though it's like 5 hours away still.
For me, I just going back one stop. It was the first time for me that I had I suppose one was better exhaustion. I was just done. I was spent, and I was like, I really wanted. Thankfully, I didn't lie down, because I think if I had lied down, I would never have gone back up. I mean, I was literally sort of head leaning against my pole, eyes shut, and the guys were joking, Darren, you've now slept for 10 seconds. You can't say you walked the whole thing.
I wish I could photograph that moment. Actually.
Bloody arse, man.
Yeah.
Private.
But and again, I couldn't eat anything. They were quite happy tucking into their bacon sandwich, and it looked really nice, but it was just like, no, it wasn't working for me. But I hadn't bothered with tea or coffee or anything at any of the stops. Scott made me have a cup of tea.
Oh,
what a absolute lifesaver!
Oh.
And at the next stop, again, Scott made both. We got into it. He was, by that point, I don't know about Scott was now our rock.
Yeah,
because he was just we're going. Those cups of tea.
Oh my God,
were
great.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
I mean, superb.
I haven't drunk tea with sugar in for a long time, and Scott was making tea with 2 sugars, and I think I had 3 at one stop. He made 3 cups of tea for me, and those teas were just the greatest.
Because that rehydrates you, doesn't it? Tea.
Yeah. But
and Scott had made the decision, and he would just be like, "Right, we're here for an hour. We're not moving." Or I think in Plumstead we might have been there about an hour and a half, that last stop. And again, Scott had decided we are taking our time. We're not going to be doing anything. I mean, at that point, Martyn and I were in absolute agony. It was the first time I went and spoke to the first aiders and explained that my bum cheeks were red raw. So they said, well, the only other thing we've got is Sudocrem. So
did they apply it to you?
No, they didn't. I had to go into I found they had an air-conditioned room. It was beautiful. Went in there, whipped my shorts down, apply, and off we went. And then they gave us the cold spray for our foot, and the guy said, that's the only other thing I've got. And Martyn and I were both like, oh, okay, all right. So, and he said, at best, you'll get an hour of relief.
About it, wasn't I? I was like, that's not going to work.
We were both kind of like, at that point, I'll take anything. I don't give a shit. You put it on, and that's certainly that walk up the hill. God, it was fucking hot but beautiful because of the pain had gone.
The only way I can explain it is after that spray, I put my socks, Vaseline, shoes back on. I stood up, and it was like I was just starting all over again. That's how it felt. And for that hour to get up that hill, it wasn't easy, but it just felt like that was the first thing I was doing on this whole walk. That stuff was incredible. It really was great. So that's getting bagged next time.
So what was your thoughts when you finally eventually got to the 99-kilometer marker?
Oh, we all stopped. We all changed our t-shirts to make sure that we were in the Give Kids the World Universal Toy Collector t-shirts. I think you can see from the picture that we took that I mean, I can only speak for myself, but the picture looked like we were all absolutely exhilarated. And I've got to be honest, that last kilometre, are we going to go there now, Stu?
Go on.
I mean, am I jumping the gun? I don't think. I mean, there's people that do this sort of thing all the time who are and they achieve much better things than I'll ever achieve in my life. But walking that last half a kilometre and seeing in the distance that finishing line and the 100 maybe people at the side, and I don't mean to sound like an arse, but for me, as I was walking towards that, I got a little bit emotional under my sunglasses. I was like, I can't. No, that's not what I mean. The next bit will explain that. But I was getting a bit emotional. I was like, I can't believe I've done this. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of everybody that I'm with. So proud of you, Stu, for doing your bit. Georgie just being everywhere when we needed her. Darren's wife. Everything. I was so overwhelmed. And while names were getting announced on the microphone, and there was only about 100 people there probably, and they were clapping. And I got this feeling like this must be what it'd be like to score a goal in the FA Cup final at Wembley. That's how I felt. And I know that sounds a bit stupid, but for me personally, I honestly, I felt like I could do that at that moment anyway, not afterwards. But at that moment, I felt I could do this all over again. I was so I was so proud of everything and everybody, you know, I don't want to sound silly, but that's how I felt, and I was so over
let's
the
put
moon.
this in perspective. Let's put this. So I mean, so when myself and Georgie we eventually arrived up at Brighton Racecourse, you guys weren't too far away, and that guy that we saw, Darren, that was on top of that hill that had run out of water, he was there. And I said, well done, mate.
Right. You told me this, didn't you? I was trying to think earlier who told me it. Yeah.
Yeah, I said, well done, mate. I said, you completed it. He said, no, I didn't. He said, I got to kilometre 82 and he said, I had to call it quits. That morning alone, over 100 people had quit it and couldn't complete it because of the heat. And his wife was talking to Georgie, and Georgie said to me, and even the guy, Dave, who was the announcer at the end, he said to me, and Georgie as well, that there are people that have done this walk many a time, seasoned walkers that have done it. And he said, even they struggled and they couldn't complete it because of the heat. So it's not just people that were doing it for the first time struggled and couldn't do it because of the heat. It was over 100 odd people that day alone had to pull out because they just couldn't do it because they couldn't cope with the heat. It was horrendous, and it was relentless. It was like it on the Saturday, and it was like it on the Sunday as well. So when you guys were coming into view, well, Steph kept on looking at the phone, her phone, and she goes, "Oh, they're getting closer." Like, really? As opposed to what? Do you know what I mean? She was so excited. It's like a statement. They're getting closer. So we saw you at the top of the hill, and then I said to the announcer, Dave, I said, look, my friends are coming. This is what we've done. But he goes, I'm not going to be able to remember that. He said, wait till they get closer. So you guys come into view, and you know you were real close. There's probably about 300, 400 yards left. You guys were the only ones who had your names called out, as I recall, because you wanted to know your names. You wanted to know the charity that we'd done it for.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
No, because he said to me, right, I said, they're coming now. He goes, go down and meet them and walk over the line with them. And I said, no. I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to take anything away from these guys. These guys have done it, and I'm not going to take anything away. He said, do you want to come around and give them their medals then? I said, absolutely. So in my excitement, I ran off, realised, oh, shit, that fucking hurts, and stopped. So then I had to like pootle around like an old man again. So, yeah, that was a nice touch for him. So you guys got your names called out, and seeing you guys come up that hill, and then, you know, Martyn was second, obviously, but just seeing you guys, it's just absolutely brilliant. And there was no way that I would have not been there to support you guys on. I was the one that got you into this. I asked you to do it. And I felt, like I said, fucking awful that I didn't get to spend time with Martyn and Scott or complete the 100K. At least I could do was be there to see you guys across the line and just give you a big, well-deserved hug, because I thought you guys.
Yeah, I mean, that last sort of walk down, it was pretty amazing. I think I had another stop at around 98 because my feet were just killing me.
Yeah, we paused. So
I had to sort of give them a massage. And then we set off again, like I say, and obviously changed the t-shirts. Then we were on the race course, and it was kind of, totally with Martyn on the fact it was, it's starting to well up a bit, and we were pretty hopeful. We knew at that point that you were going to be there, but obviously earlier in the day we weren't sure. We were hoping you would be.
Yeah.
And to see you there and to have you do the medals was brilliant. I mean, it was a beautiful moment. I joked with you the day before, and I went, I'm not really I might get a little bit emotional, but it's not really something.
Yeah, what you're saying.
I did. I said, don't make me. I said, if you lot start crying, then I might start crying. I was blubbing at the end. I mean, I haven't cried in years.
I think my manager said, "Go on, have a good cry. Go on, have a cry."
And I was proper. Just sort of the whole of seeing you all. Thankfully Sarah videoed it as I nearly fell flat on my face, tripping over my poles as we got to the finish line.
Oh, that would
just been sort of brilliant. That lasting moment, Darren dies in front of the front. My thing of GTA, I can't get across the finish line. I nearly did it.
I'm surprised you didn't jump up at a different direction and jump across the fence or something.
I kind of sort of veered off at one point and then veered back. But to sort of have them sort of announcers. I mean, I had no idea at that point. We just assumed they were announcing everybody that was.
No. You guys were the only ones that know of that had your names called out.
And then, just to see you all, and yeah, it was just sort of a real sort of wave of emotion, and kind of like, yeah, just sort of for me personally, obviously having got God knows how, but getting from all the way through without sleeping. Yes, we'd had lots of stops. I mean, I think I worked it out that we'd stopped roughly around about 9 hours through the whole thing. I mean, you just needed to. I mean, there was never a thing about how fast. It was never about time. It was about finishing, or doing as well as we could to get, as far as we could. So yeah, that was just such a emotional moment of sort of coming up to the end and suddenly thinking, "Thank Christ for that's over."
Then we went in and sat and had that burger. That we all got a free burger, didn't we? And I sat down, and I instantly, all the adrenaline left my body, and I could hardly walk. I was shaking. That was really weird. I'd never had anything like that in my life happen. Steph kind of had to help me to the car.
Well, I mean, everybody was in sort of uncharted territory. I mean, I think we called out on the way. Stu and I on the first day both were like, right, this is as far as you'd walk, this is as far as I'd walk. We were both in uncharted. And then obviously for you guys, when we were doing the Sunday, again, it was like we called out and said, right, you've now worked further than you've ever walked. First of all, that's a fantastic achievement. Secondly, we've still got a little way to go. And I'm not letting you. We weren't going to let anybody. We were going to make sure that the three of us got to the end, because you two needed to get to the end to get your medal.
Yes.
Stu, I know you sort of, and I would be, I'd feel the same. But you'd done that ultra, so you've got your medal, you've got your t-shirt. These two needed to get to Brighton to be able to achieve the same.
We had photographs taken, didn't we? We had photographs taken of us at the end with our medals and stuff like that. And I said in the comments that I felt a bit like John Terry. So I did a picture with John Terry
in the picture.
Involved in the act. Look, I'm not taking anything away from you guys. I think you did absolutely fantastic. The support that you've shown and your commitment and dedication to this was just absolutely mind-blowing. And like, me and Darren, we had a really, really good chat along that way. I mean, that first 6-7 hours just flew by. It was like, have we been walking that long? Have we walked that far? Yeah. Mental. And then, when things started going a little bit quiet, we knew we were going to be like digging deep and stuff like that. And look, listen, don't get me wrong. I am proud to have got to that as far as I did. I just feel I maybe should have made that little bit more of an extra effort to try and carry on, to at least spend a bit of time with Scott and Martyn. But overall, it wasn't an enjoyable experience. It was savage. I'll give it that. It was
savage.
You know what I mean? It's Scott, how was you feeling going up that final straight? I mean, I felt like wanting to do like the horse commentary. You know what they do at the end. I was tempted to do that, but I thought no, I better not.
I mean, we'd had a few sort of highs, moments of elation when we realised we were at that halfway point, and we'd only got to kind of do double what we'd done. That for Martyn and I, anyway. And then at the last stop, the stop at Plumpton at the school, we knew we got the hill to come, but again, we thought we're going to do this. It's just another 12 or 12.5 kilometres, and we were all completely determined at that point that we were going to do it.
Yeah.
And it was a long haul, really. It was up that hill, and we didn't really realise there were going to be 2 more really long tarmac hills to go.
Oh, yeah, the drag from the Brighton football stadium.
Really hard that, but we were never going to stop. There was no doubt we were ever going to stop. And and every time someone was a bit quiet or struggling a little bit, I mean, I picked up a bit of a groin strain really early on, and it's not happened at all in any of the training. I kept quiet about it for a while, and I mentioned it before we started up that hill. And the guys kind of closed in and sort of supported me with that, and we're asking, was I okay? And that
did they cut your groin?
Sorry.
No, I was going to say
I was okay.
Yes, but it was like that throughout. So we were constantly backing each other up, making sure we were okay. Martyn and I were especially attuned to Darren, making sure he was all right, because he'd done the whole day before with you, So, you know, we were determined to, you know, make sure he felt supported and that we weren't in any way pushing him. But coming down that hill was just amazing. It was, you know, I've never done anything like that. I've never been involved in a sporting team or anything. So to have been a part of this and to have approached that finish line, a bit like Martyn said, scoring a goal in the World Cup. Yeah, it was that. It was that kind of thing. And yes, it was emotional. And I'm one of those people who starts to mourn something before it's even over. So I'm already thinking, I don't want this experience to end because it's been so special.
Well, you could turn around and walk back.
I said something. Yeah. I said something as we're walking down the hill. You know, we've got to remember these moments. We've got to remember this because this is special.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It was just overwhelming. You know, I still haven't come down from it. It's been a moving experience, really.
It has. We've been discussing walking holidays. That's how much it's like, kind of like, you know, that's how much it's kind of got the bug a little bit now.
Unbelievable. What I will say, it's quite funny because we're talking about conversation. You know, myself and Darren, we were just chatting away, and we went the wrong way a couple of times because we were so engrossed in the conversation. We weren't thinking about or looking where we were going, so we went wrong a couple of times. But as the day went on, that conversation, that free-flowing conversation, was like turned into, "You all right? Yep. You all right? Yep. Nearly there. Yep. Another 4 kilometers. Yep." And that was about as good as the conversation got. Oh, slow down, Stu. It's going too quick, Stu. Slow down. And that was the conversation towards the end of the. You know, I mean, I don't think anybody who's not done it realizes just, you know, 16 hours walking is a long time. You know, it's I mean, I know you guys have said you've been talking about like walking holidays, and I've seen it in the chat as well. Thinking about doing other ultra challenges and stuff like that. I mean, you guys are fucking mental. That's all I can say.
I've got no intention of doing 100, but I quite fancy doing a 50. And Sarah's kind of up for doing 50.
Yeah, I agree. I'd really love I know you mentioned in the chat, Stu, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but you mentioned in the chat that you'd quite like to do Tully's Farm to the racecourse. You know, because it's something you want to finish off. You want to tick that box.
Yeah.
I'd be totally up for doing that again with you if you wanted to do it.
Oh, it's in my diary. It's in my calendar for next year already.
So you know,
we
just
are.
Keep that in mind.
I'm 100% with Martyn. I'm there. We are. If you're doing it, I'm there.
Is that you as well, Scott?
Absolutely, yeah.
Bugger me, yeah. Because I'm a bit like you, Martyn. I don't like missing out on stuff, and I did feel like I've missed out on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you did.
Just walking, but I've got to say I am forever grateful. So is Georgie for what you guys have done, for what you've accomplished, for the support that you've shown. I mean, look, listen, it's everybody in the chat as well. You know, the messages of support you gave us, the messages of support after the event as well, the taking part in the charity live streams, and this is the reason why we've done this last weekend. I'm just blown away, and I said to Darren, I said, I think, look, this isn't the biggest channel in the world. I don't ever want it to be, but what it's got heart and soul, and that's not just from me and Georgie. That is from you guys, the people that support the channel, the ones that turn up week in, week out for the chats, and Shabby will testify this as well. You guys are the heart and soul of this channel. You keep it going because of your banter, of your support. I mean, thank you so much, honest to God. I don't think thank you is enough a lot of the time, and just thank you, and to you three as well, absolute legends. I just thank you so much. Let me just quickly catch up on the chat, and then we'll see the stream out. So, as Wonder Woman once said, you should be proud. Yep, absolutely. We well-deserved feeling of elation after completing it. Yeah, definitely. We watched you live on the event live stream as you walked past. Oh wow!
Yeah,
there you are.
There
you go. But Lady Steph, I meant to say they're nearly here, but it came out as they're getting closer. Of course you did, Steph. It's all right, darling. No one knows. So I'll keep it between me and you. All right, no one needs to know. My mum always used to say, "I hope you're proud of yourself," but I don't believe I was supposed to be. What's that? I don't.
By her tone, yeah.
Oh right, okay, yeah. Everybody's saying hello. Everybody's saying hello. What's this? Don't start getting emotional. Remember, we're British. Stiff upper lip and all that. What? Yeah, I know. Yeah. Did everyone quote Samwise? If I take one more step, Mr. Photo, I'll be the furthest. Oh no, you should have done that.
I think we did lots of Shire quotes as we were along the way.
Yeah. Imagine if the last 100 yards was an assault course like Total Wipeout.
I'll be up for that. I'll be there. Bit of mud.
Well, over, Darren.
Have a Krispy Kreme challenge here where you run 5k whilst consume. Oh, I could do that. 5k and a donut. Sign me up. What's that? G-Force Martyn would do that in an instant. yeah. I'll be sick as a dog. 1 KK donut for me is plenty.
1 Kathleen Kennedy donut. Oh.
Hello. Hello. How are you, sir? Nice you to join us. Thank you very much. Hoping you're keeping well. If we do it again next, can we skip the live stream?
It's so kind.
Do you know what I said about the heart and soul?
You had to be there.
Yeah. Me too, G. I can't even do half a KK donut. What is going on?
This is therapy for us, really, isn't it?
Yes, me are. Hello, sir. How the devil are you? Nice you can join us. Thank you very much. Everybody saying hi to Chris. As we know, I will be doing hosting another 24-hour charity live stream next March. I've got some ideas floating around my noggin about what I'm going to do as a challenge and stuff like that. So all will be revealed near the time. Guys, we've been going in 2 hours. Obviously, Connor's getting bored. Is there anything that you would like to say before we depart? Well, don't everybody fucking pipe up, Jesus Christ.
I'll go first if you want. I just want to say, as you say, to echo the thanks to everybody. The support from the chat and the messages. You three for somehow getting me through 32 hours of. I don't know. I look back on it now and just think it was mental to be able to sort of to do it. But yeah, no regrets. Loved it. The pain. I mean, I did walk yesterday, so we went to Leeds Castle and I did 8 kilometres yesterday, and I did park run today, and I will be going for a walk tomorrow morning because I think we said last week it will feel weird not walking, so I will still go for a walk tomorrow morning. But it was when you asked me, whenever it was back in October, there was no pause. It was I'm in. Just because you'd asked me, I felt really chuffed and honoured that you'd asked me to come and to help with you if it happened. I mean, I didn't know what it was you were thinking. It was going to be something sort of walking, physical or something, but I didn't know what it was. And I say to support you in your efforts and the amazing things that you and Georgie have done with everybody, in raising all that money for the charity. I know it's boring to say, but the pain is for a short while. The achievement and everything is and what we went through together is forever. And it was just stunning, and we will always be that we will be. I think I said to it was Scott, Martyn, and I, we were talking about it. This will be one of the events that will be in folklore because of the heat. They always have something. There'll be a year where there were thunderstorms. There'll be a year when there were floods. This one will be the year when it was 30 degrees. And I think you say we started. There were about 800, just shy of 800 started walking and a mix of run, and I think 230 people dropped out in the course. So 540. I think there were 10 people behind me. So bring on next year and what we do next.
Awesome. Well,
if you need a team to do it, I mean, if you're doing it solo, I'm quite happy you're doing it solo.
I've got some ideas swimming around in my head. You see, the thing is, I'm constantly thinking. constantly thinking, so you don't stop. Scott, is there anything you want to add to that, my friend?
Oh, not a lot, really. Just to echo everything that Darren said. Really, I mean, it was great to be asked to be a part of it. Again, I was also pretty quick to say yes. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed giving myself the challenge. Doing the training leading up to it. Is something I want to carry on. I hope I do. Being able to support the charity, fantastic. But what I'll take out of it is the time I spent, especially with these two guys. Just phenomenal. We've shared that experience. It was a real shame not to get to spend the time with you, Stu, but
I know.
It was just an amazing time, something I'll never forget. Whatever happens next.
I know Darren said there's no regrets. I think my only regret is that I didn't try at least to soldier on and spend a bit of time with both yourself and Martyn, because who knows, I might have found a second wind or just had wind, one of the two. I don't know, but it might have helped. I don't know, but
you were pretty. I mean, you made the right call. I mean, it was, because it's not like you say that next stint is what you're committing to another 4 hours.
Yeah,
and it's not just I'll just do this bit, and it was superb.
It was all worth it. I loved it. Brilliant time.
And to be with you three across those 2 days was just fantastic. And
Martyn,
the support of Georgie and everyone, and
Steph and Sarah there, Lucy and Jess. What a pleasure it was to meet them. I'm sure they didn't think the same thing, but
that's right. They always know. Who's Stu? Are you going on Stu's trip? Yeah, the one that jizzes and pisses himself. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I just want to say to both of you, good luck with your endeavours at your universities. I really do hope it works out well. Jess is going to North Carolina, and Lucy's going to Coventry.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
There you are. Right, Martyn.
Yeah, I mean everything that Darren and Scott have said, but it was the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the sisterhood. Everybody, not just who did this, but in this family, as we call it now, there was people texting, there was people putting stuff on Instagram, there was people supporting us the whole time before we went, when we got back, asking how we got on, and honestly, I'm 40. I think I'm 48 this year. In the short 3 or 4 years I've been part of or been welcomed into this group of friends and brothers and sisters or family or whatever we call it now, honestly, this is just another one of those experiences that I've had that I'll remember for the rest of my life, and it was just such a great experience, and just got to thank you guys and Georgie and Steph, everybody. It was awesome, and I honestly, I think I've got the bug a little bit.
Madness, absolutely madness. Right, okay, so we've got some ideas here for next year. Swim the Channel, Stu. No effing way would I swim that. I mean, well, that's it. I might get hit by a boat or something. Who knows? Have you considered a triathlon, Stu? Absolutely not. No, I'm not going to be doing anything physical next year when it comes to challenge. That's for damn sure. So absolutely not. I'm not going to give anything away. Darren, you was in my neighbourhood-ish then. Oh, there you are. Next March, best get drawing unless anybody wants nightly pics of Star Wars characters. Ooh, well, there you go. Who knows? What was your step count over the 2 days? I don't know.
130,000.
Was it really?
Yeah.
You counted?
Yeah. Oh, I had my Garmin on the whole time. So, 32 hours and 120,000 steps.
72,000 for me.
Yeah, I guess mine was the same as Martyn's. I couldn't get.
You got longer legs.
Next challenge, speed snooker. I bet Martyn would be up for that. Speed snooker.
I don't really get it, Kieran. You have to explain that.
Extreme learning. Swim with sharks. What the hell? Oh, leaning. Fucking hell. Oh, extreme leaning. No. I've seen Des T's extreme leaning. Oh, no. It was also become legend as the Walk of Darren's Paul Potty. Yeah, well, there you go. Nothing a quick finger won't sort out. Hi, everyone. Driving and texting. Well, pack that in. That's very naughty, but nice to be with us, Geek Strong. Oh, God, we're going to be seeing you in 3 weeks, mate. I cannot wait. 3 weeks. We hi. BOE's here, and everybody's saying hello to each other. What's this for next year? Hike up the marathon. Oh, the Matterhorn. No way.
Maybe we could ride the Matterhorn. I don't know about walking up here.
That is one place I like to go. The Matterhorn. I'd be wanting to go to Zermatt.
You can just drive up to it, take a picture, and then go. You don't have to.
Yeah. I'd love to go. I think Zermatt's a beautiful town, so we'll see where that goes. Hi JT and Des. I want to say hello to each other. Stu, you should watch it. Oh no!
No amount of money's worth that.
No,
that's what we. I think that was one of the things that Stu and I were talking about. If Martyn, if you stopped, that was your penalty. That we were going to make you. Your encouragement was you got to go to the end, Martyn. Otherwise, you got to watch the sequel trilogy twice.
And I think it was if I didn't get to the last. If I got to the last stage and didn't finish, I had to watch the Acolyte as well.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we upped the stakes.
That's enough reason to finish it. Right. Listen, I just want to say once again a huge thank you to to all of you, to Des, what the fuck's Des? Daz, damn it, Daz, Scott, Martyn, for being on the live stream, for taking part in the walk. You have no idea, it means a lot. And I just want to say a huge thank you to you, the chat, absolutely superb, and thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. Right, so I will be back next weekend with another live stream. Not quite sure what it's going to be. I've got one lined up, but that might have to be rearranged because I've got to wait for a guest to confirm. So, but yeah. How about? Well, look, listen. Last year it was funny, JT. I mentioned to Georgie skydiving as an idea for last year, and she turned around and said no straight away. And I was like, thank fuck for that, because if she'd have said yes, I would have seriously considered doing it. I got the tattoo instead. I think that means more. No chance I'm going to be doing a skydive. Great live stream, Stu, Martyn, Darren, Scott, and everyone in the chat. Take care. Well, thank you very much, Kieran. True. Jono, maybe not. What's that? Oh, skydiving. Skydiving. Yeah, no. Love you lot. Oh, bless you. Congratulations, guys, on doing that mega walk. Thank you very much. Well, he can do it next time. He cycles everywhere, doesn't he? Cool stream, guys, and again, well done. Thank you very much, Jono. Appreciate it. Congratulations again, guys. Give yourselves a clap on the back for yours. Thank you very much. And that's collection. Don't jump out of a perfectly good airplane. No, absolutely not.
Yes.
And on this note, we'll leave it here. Wonderful stream, guys. Well done. Thank you very much. Take care. Stay safe. And we shall see you next week. Bye for now. Ta-da. Let's show our medals. Woohoo! Ta-da.